Dumelang, ka lebitso ke Ntabi Kgabo. However, I would prefer to be called Ntabi K. And you are welcome to LifeLine South Africa, the podcast. Today, we are graced with the presence of not only our beauty queen, I'm talking brains, I'm talking a businesswoman, Basani Malambe. You're welcome, my sister.
Good morning, Tabi K, and thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. There's a lot that I can tell about this lady, but because she's here, I think it's best if she tells us herself. Who is Basani?
Okay, Basani Malambe is a businesswoman. I am the owner of BM Legacy Fragrance. I am a mother, a wife. I am a registered a psychometrist by profession, and I am the current Mrs. Grand South Africa, Mrs. Universe Africa finalist, and I'm also Mrs. Universe Africa coordinator. So I coordinate the pageants that are under Bokang Monjani Shabalala Foundation. It's called the African Beauty International Organization.
You mentioned that you are a psychometrist. How far off your level of education did you go by?
I hold a master's degree in professional and personal leadership from the University of Johannesburg. I also have an honors in industrial psychology, and after that I went for my internship where I wrote a board exam to qualify as a psychometrist. So my highest qualification is in master's.
Wow, I'm already jealous and I think you should come back home. I hear that you were once a lifeliner.
Yes, I started working at LifeLine in 2002 as a volunteer. I think during Christmas holiday, their counselors will go for leave and then they will have volunteers. So I volunteered for that season, and I remember in April after I volunteered, there were positions I applied, and I got the position as the HIV counselor then.
Okay.
Then I moved to the Stop Gender Violence Helpline, the 0800 150 150. I still remember that one.
Yes.
Yes, until 2005. I left Lifeline 2005. So you are correct to say welcome home. It's home for me.
Yeah, you see, at Lifeline, we produce greatness. She's now a psychometrist and she started here at home. Well done with that, yeah?
Thank you so much.
The beauty pageant, where does the love come from?
The love. I think the love for beauty pageant, I used to enter beauty pageants when I was young. And you know, coming from the rural Limpopo, you don't advance because you don't have resources, you don't know how to advance or to apply further to other pageants, or you don't even have skills because you cannot compare yourself to other kids who grew up in urban areas and they had resources. And I think it died, the dream died as I was growing.
Okay.
So when I saw that there is a beauty pageant for married, divorced and widow under Mrs. Universe Africa, I said, I can relive my dream, I can relive my purpose, and I entered the Mrs. Universe Africa where I advanced as a finalist, and that was a realization of my dream. And people think that entering pageant is about winning a crown. For me, well, it was not about winning a crown. Yes, winning a crown would have been great, but it was realizing my dreams, because as women, as married women, we forget our dreams, we forget who we are, we live for our children and our husbands. So for me, it was like, I need to wake up and remember, what is Basani's dreams? What is it that I wanted to achieve before I got married? So that platform helped me to realize my dream and to make impact in my community, because I am an advocate for mental health and HELP syndrome. HELP syndrome is one of the complications in pregnancy that most people don't even know, because it happens to a minute % of women in the world. So I am a survivor of HELP syndrome, which also, in my case, killed my kidneys. I had to go for dialysis and learn how to walk and talk again. So I raise awareness about that condition so that people know they can be helped as soon as possible. So it also gave me the opportunity to go back to my community and teach them about mental health and HELP syndrome. So pageant is not about looking pretty and sitting, attending events. You also need to take it back to my organization, and I feel honored that I found myself in a platform such as Mrs. Universe Africa, which embraced what I stand for.
Wow, thank you for that. I hear you talking about giving support to pregnant women. Would you like to share the experience of your daughter? Is it your daughter where you had difficulty and she was born prematurely?
Yes, those are two different incidents. Yeah, okay. I will talk about, but the HELP syndrome, it was my second pregnancy. I like that my presenter did her research. Yeah, that was my second pregnancy where I had HELP syndrome. So HELP syndrome, in most cases, we know it as pre-eclampsia, but it advances. Oh. So in my case, it advances where it killed my liver and my kidney. And I was in hospital for a very long time, close to 6 months. I had to be rehabilitated. I had to go for I had renal failure and I had dialysis. You'll see that I have scars. Okay. Fortunately, with me, one of my kidneys started to wake up, and then hence I am here today, but I was in a list waiting for a donor. Okay. So I'm here because one of my kidneys started working. That was my second pregnancy. And unfortunately with us, we lost our son because when my kidneys died, everything stopped, and then my son couldn't breathe anymore. So it affects that. So we lost our son. That was my second a pregnancy. With the one that you were referring to, it's after years where we've accepted that because of the previous condition, we cannot have a child anymore. But miraculously, I fell pregnant and I delivered early. This is the daughter that you're talking about. Okay. I delivered at 27 weeks, a very tiny baby, very strenuous, and I was on bed rest. So it was different from the previous situation. The previous situation was high blood pressure, but this one at 19 weeks, the doctor said, oh my God, your baby is falling. You cannot continue with this pregnancy. But fortunately, the other one said, no, we just need to put you on bed rest. So I was on bed rest for close to 3 months, not moving, not doing anything in hospital until 26 weeks when my daughter was born. 700 grams. If you know 700, it's very tiny, and she was in hospital for a very long time. So that's where the fond of supporting people with difficult pregnancies, with prem babies, supporting them, because it drains you. You need support. The psychosocial support plays an important part on how you cope with the situation and the journey. So with me, my family was there, my husband was there, so I had support. So some people are not blessed or lucky like me to have. So I need to step in and be there for them and say, okay, this is how we can support you. So that is my journey. That's why I'm fond about pregnancy and the mental health.
I hear you.
Yeah.
From what you are saying, I'm sensing resilience, perseverance, coming from Limpopo, where you say you were disadvantaged. And today you're wearing a sash, Miss Grand South Africa Royal. Yes. You should have given up and said, you know, I'm now married, I'm a mom, I have to focus. But you said, no, yes. I will never forget my passion and my dream is to wear that crown. And you are wearing it. Yes, you're right by saying it's not about the crown itself or being number one or one of the princesses. But there's more that I'm sensing that you're learning from being one of the participants. Confidence built,
yes,
identifying with self, coming out and say, I am, I can, and I will.
Yes.
Wow, thank you for that. I hear you in your background talking about BM Foundation.
Yes.
Would you like to share more about that?
Bokang Monjani Foundation is a foundation that is founded by Bokang Monjani Chabalala. We know her, Miss South Africa 2010, and then she started that foundation. She also built a library back home at her home at Ekampahlele in Limpopo. She is empowering young women. So the Bokang Monjani Foundation also focuses or gives an awareness about gender-based violence, because she is passionate about us grooming women and capacitating women and knowing what is their right and knowing that what is it that they can do and what is it that they can live for. So that is what she stands for in terms of the gender-based violence. We also advocate for gender-based violence, because you know in South Africa you have seen during the COVID pandemic level 5 that the statistics raised, and it means that there is something that is very wrong in our community or in our society. So we like to empower women, and sometimes when we talk about gender-based violence, people like to think that we are empowering women to say leave your marriages or leave your relationship, but it's not about that. If this relationship is not good for you, it means you need to do something for yourself. We are not making decisions for women, but we are teaching them to choose themselves. Yes.
So when was the foundation founded?
She founded the Bokang Monjani as soon as she was crowned Miss South Africa in 2010, and then the utmost activity started in 2011.
In 2011.
Yes.
And where are you based?
We are based in Reimsdag.
Okay.
Yes.
So in which areas do you work?
We work mostly in Reimsdag, and we have adopted a house, a Dorasak, where we go there. There's women and children. We also starting our greenhouse and our safe house that is in construction around that area. I don't want to give the details of the physical addresses because of the safety of a woman who will want to use that. So yes, we are in Reimsdag. Let me just say we are in Reimsdag.
So does that mean now you are forming a shelter?
Yes.
Not only that you go out to make awareness, you also want to keep them safe.
We want women to have a place to run to for a day or for a few hours while they want to rethink, while they still need help, while they still thinking what is my next step. And we are also trying to build capacity for the safe house to say that if we receive such women, what is it that we can do with them at that time? Yes.
What other projects do you have as a foundation?
As a foundation, we also have the project for food security, where we have partnered with the Department of Agriculture, where we go to schools and teach them about food security. We give them seeds through the Department of Agriculture, and they do their own food gardening. You'll find that in most cases, people will say we don't have big space to do our food gardening, but we say use what you have. We use tires, door frames, we make it exciting, we paint it. We've done it with 2 schools so far, and primary school, and it has been exciting. We need to go back and see how far the project is, but we are also trying to build our footprint in South Africa. Yes.
So it sounds like it's not only about agriculture, you're also unleashing their creativity.
We are also doing that because we want them to discover who they are. We also give them skills like life skills. You know, most of the young girls in South Africa are raised by grannies, and grannies don't have time to give them skills like, as a girl, you sit like this is what happened. And so we also step in to teach them such skills that you need to value yourself, you need to know your goals, your background is not, that doesn't determine what you can achieve as a young woman. You need to work hard, you need to love yourself, you need to be passionate about your dreams, and your dreams, actually we encourage them to know that their dreams are valid. Yeah,
it's very interesting because not only that you're empowering women up there, you're also starting from grassroots, primary level. That's where their mind is still fragile and they are exposed to a lot of challenges where they can even fall into peer pressure. But with your assistance,
maybe if I can also add is that I spoke about a girl child, but we are not also forgetting a boy child.
Thank you.
It's not like when a boy child come to those group sessions, we'll say no, because you're a boy you don't have to come, because we also know that there is a gap. Most we have single parents, there is no father figure, and those boys need to be groomed. So we also fill a gap for that boy child, so that they are not left behind. So we don't forget a boy child.
And that's also a good point because it strikes a balance. You know, previously patriarchy was focused on men and boys and everybody, and we forgot about women. And now you're seeing femicide is also raising a girl child, forgetting about this. So with your foundation, it's good that now balanced. You're striking that balance so that no one is left behind, and it will also give at least of an effect on GPV.
Yes, true.
Because when the girl is more empowered and it looks like a boy now, it's gonna feel like
Yeah, and we're also teaching them to be considerate that if a girl is doing better than you, it doesn't mean that you are less of a person. We are talented differently, and our talent show up in a different way. So go and find where you are strong at and embrace that. It can be your strong point. Yeah.
Now, as you know that us as Lifeline, we are big on GPV, emotional wellness, HIV and AIDS. We also have the Nerve Center. How do we then work together with the PM Foundation?
I think the reason for us partnering with a Lifeline South Africa was that we do a lot of radio shows, and since we advocate for gender-based violence, we raise awarenesses. We will go on a specific radio, and then after that we give out a number, and we find that there's so many people calling us after that, but we don't have capacity to deal with that. But there is Lifeline, which is a 24-hour call center where people can be assisted. They can be given information. There is a counselor, a trained counselor waiting for them. Unlike us, maybe a PA will just answer. They are not compassionate. They don't have empathy. They cannot probe all the things that a counselor can do, and it can frustrate the other person on the other end. So Lifeline is there. It's a toll-free number. People can call knowing that they cannot be disconnected. So we felt that we don't need to say people should be assisted while we know that we don't have capacity. We should refer them to a place where we know that they will be assisted. So the partnership is all about that. We're sending people to a right direction.
So to me, it sounds like a win-win.
Yes.
Even Lifeline is gaining more clients, and we are saving, while also you're saving on your side.
True.
So the community is loved.
Yeah,
we are there for them.
I think there's always enough light for everyone to shine. We just need to work together so that we change the situation in South Africa, because it's a societal problem. You cannot solve it alone. We just need to partner.
Most of our communities are not aware or are not taught enough when it comes to mental health. How do you engage with them in educating them and making them aware of too?
Yeah. I think personally, I love mental health. I breathe mental health, and there is a stigma attached to mental health. Hence, you'll find that people do not want to disclose that I've been diagnosed with depression because of the stigma that is attached. We should educate people that it is okay. Our physical health and our emotional and our psychological health, it's equally important. So if someone is comfortable to say that I'm taking medication for high blood pressure, people should be comfortable saying I am taking medication for depression. And it is our responsibility to educate people so that we don't have high societal rate because people are not supported. People feel that they are not supported. So as a foundation, we also touch base on that. It's a beauty pageant, and beauty pageant can be draining sometimes. When you are going through the journey, you are in a competition. As much as you don't want to say you are competing, but you are required to do certain things. You are a wife, you are a mother, you are also working. That can be draining on its own. So at some time you need to pause and take care of your mental health. So we also educate the people that are participating in a pageant that you must know when to take a break. You must know yourself so that you know that now it's time for me to pause and take care of myself. So that is very important for us, because we don't want people to be in a pageant and they leave the pageant with burnout, anger, so many things. So we try to also educate in that aspect. Sometimes before, for instance, this year before the finale, or before their interview, we had a psychologist who came and gave them a presentation on how to deal with anxiety, because going for an interview can be anxiety provoking. So we prepare them
on how to deal with it. Thank you. Basani and Bokang, both two girls from Limpopo. What are you doing back home?
Yeah, what I think for Bokang, let me start with Bokang, and then I will come to myself. She has a project that she's doing for girls at home. She has also built a library. Mentioned that.
Yes.
And then the issue of food security, together with her husband Sipiwe Chabalala, they always do that. They've partnered with a spa, so that they can go and give a donation for food or food parcels to those who are in need at home and all over South Africa.
Okay.
With myself at home, I have my own organization called Bakwazi Hands of Compassion.
Okay.
I've mentioned I focus on pregnant women, but also girls. I offer career guidance to girls from previous disadvantaged backgrounds.
Yes.
You know, in Limpopo you have that. I have twice in a year I will give them sanitary towels, and beginning of the year I do my stationary drive. And the thing is that my passion with career guidance is that there is a lot of opportunities that they can choose, but there are careers that are out there, we know, teaching, nursing and stuff, and girls or these girls cannot explore other careers. So I go there and do a mini career exhibition and help them to choose subjects, grade 10, to say, if you want to do this is what you must do. I do that once in a year, but I make it big, invite everyone. Girls and boys are also invited. Because of my previous background, I've previously worked for SAQA, so I know how qualifications and education and higher education works. So it really helps me, and also helped me to get the collaterals to give to girls. So that's what I do, and I really enjoy it. My next one is coming now in September.
Okay.
Yes.
Please do invite us. Lifeline, we like to touch base with everything and everyone out there with availability. Surely we can speak to our director and he'll just release us. The more we get the exposure, the more we assist a lot of people. Like I've mentioned previously, Hore, it's a win-win situation.
And there's no Lifeline in Guyana.
You see, talk about that.
An opportunity.
Together with you, you can identify land, and then funding should come.
Yeah,
we should go and knock at the door, Sako Guyane, and see who can open one for us.
True.
It's not for us, it's for the community, the love and the passion. And I believe it's a calling more than any other thing. True. Talking about calling, in most cases, or maybe the little experience that I have, it says, this profession that we are in, be it a counselor, a social worker, a life coach, psychomet, there is something that speaks to you, that pushes you, that wakes you up in the evening when you are sleeping. I have to go study. I have to do this. Or maybe with others, it's experience.
Yeah.
What led you into this profession?
You know what? I think for me, growing up, when I was in high school, people will come and seek advices from me, and I was like, oh, okay, why are they asking for advice? And I realized that people, when I talk to people, they feel comforted. They feel at peace. And initially, I went to university to study social work. That's my story that people don't know.
Okay.
I studied, but just before I graduated, I went with a friend to collect something in a different department. And then I saw a pamphlet. It was talking about industrial psychology, but I said, this is what I wanted. And then I went inside and asked, but I'm currently studying social sciences, but I think this is what I wanted. What is it that I can do? They said, no, because most of the subjects are related. You can just come next year and do this industrial psychology 1, 2, 3 same year, because you have other things, and then you graduate. So that's how I moved from social work to industrial psychology, because I felt that it speaks to me. And hence the career guidance is very important, because I studied something thinking that I know all the careers in the helping profession. So it started there, that I feel like people come to me for help, and I love people. I love to be around people. Although I am an introvert, I will go and hide sometimes. But when I'm helping people, I do help people. And yes, after that, life experiences, like I've already shared my experience that, you know, when you have gone through a journey, a difficult journey, when you sit with a person or a client, you understand them because you've been there. So I think the circumstances that we go through prepares us to help someone. And hence, for me, it is very important that when we go through something, we must not hide it, because it's sharing your story, it's helping someone. Yeah.
And it also shows with there's nothing wrong with you.
Yes.
Then the next person will also see, oh, I am human too.
Yes.
And talking is healing.
It's healing.
I believe in that.
True.
And actually, when it comes to your education, I can relate to that, because you somehow waste time studying this and that, thinking that this is you, only to find out along the way
it's not you.
This thing doesn't talk to me.
Yeah.
Then you have to redirect and recalculate your steps. So the young girls and boys are fortunate back home, or they have someone of your caliber who comes into the space and enlighten them while they are still young.
Yeah,
we really
true.
need people like yourself, Basani.
Thank you.
May God bless you.
Thank
And
you so
continue
much.
doing the great things that you are doing. And I feel like you guys are home, much as Lifeline is also home with BM Foundation, because we're sharing, they say, great minds.
Yes.
They flow together. So yeah, you are so welcome, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.